Heller say he's optimistic about the prospect of a jobless benefit extension, something he says can send a bipartisan message and help struggling Americans. In less than an hour, we'll find out if the votes are in fact there. Let's bring in our Tuesday gaggle to slice and dice this. Daniella Gibbs from the Center for American Progress, Politico's senior Washington correspondent, Anna Palmer, and Mattie Duppler with Americans for Tax Reform. Welcome to the show, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to get to you to put this into context. Even if there are 60 votes in the United States Senate for unemployment benefits, it faces a very, very difficult path in the House of Representatives because they don't like anything that's not paid for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a big if whether or not this gets across the finish line today. But certainly as far as going to the House, there's virtually no possibility that you're going to see Senate Republicans want to take this up, have any appetite to take this up.
Daniella, how much is this a move by Democrats to try and right the playing field right now in terms of what they want on their side, this idea of income inequality, which is really going to be their January message and one they hope to carry through November? It seems like any day they're not talking about the health care laws issues, that this is a good day for them.
No, I think that's right. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's also about millions of people who are struggling. You know, we've been talking about the polar vortex all morning. Well, now you have people who are struggling their heat bills or pay their mortgage because their employment benefits got cut off right away. So I think that, yes, it is a good messaging and it's a good tactic for Democrats, but at the end of the day, it's about real people who are struggling right now.
Mattie, is there a perception problem for the GOP in this type of battle? Obviously, Senator Heller earlier saying this is something that is a stimulative effect and can help people pay their heating bills, groceries in these times of needs. With all these poverty messages, is this a problem if there's this vote goes down in flames?
Well, and I agree with Daniella that it is a tactic. This is something that's good to talk about when you're talking about income inequality. The problem is it doesn't address the actual issues. We're talking about 1.3 million people who are looking for these benefits who have lost them at the end of the year. But we've got 4 million people who are long-term unemployed. And we need to be looking at what the durable effects are of that and how we can fix it. And simply extending benefits, especially for 3 months, which is all the Senate bill does, is not going to address that long-term problem.
Well, I think you can do both, though, right? I mean, you need to fix the immediate problem and get these people whole again while they are. And again, these are people who are actively looking for work. And then address the systemic problems that are happening. I don't think it's an either-or situation.
I don't think it is either. The problem is the Senate bill doesn't do that. It simply continues to do what we've been doing for the past couple of years, since 2008, which, again, remember, this was supposed to be an emergency measure. And if we can never get rid of this emergency measure, we're never going to actually have actual reform to both the unemployment system and what are systemic problems to the employment.
And this comes on the heels of most likely a big push by President Obama to extend the minimum wage. Harry Reid said he wants to do that, get it up to $10 an hour. Federal one. That being said, how long do you think the legs are, though, for this politically, this type of message going forward?
I mean, I think if you're a Democrat, you're hoping that you can ride this wave for the next several months, because if if you're not talking about Obamacare, then you are winning. And certainly, this is going to be an issue for Republicans, right? This is something where they have to find a message to say when you're talking to voters for 2014 that they do understand, the middle and lower income, Americans' problems. And if they don't seem like they're sympathetic to it, I think that you open yourself up for certainly attack ads. So it's hard to get, turn those voters out in terms of some of these states where they're going to try to win in the Senate.
Mattie, can your position be explained in an ad? Sort of, you're going at, we're not going to the systemic problems here, that it's just sort of just easing it over? Because when you look at it, this is one of these issues that it's just ripe for a political attack ad.
Well, it certainly can be. I mean, look at what Obamacare is doing to middle-income workers. These are people who maybe were working at a firm that had 50 employees that got fired because their employer couldn't afford to come under the mandate. Maybe this is a person who had 30 hours of work and now is working at 29 hours because their employer couldn't afford to keep them as what is now a full-time worker under Obamacare. These are all issues that affect middle-income and lower-income workers, and folks as well who are looking for jobs don't care what the minimum wage is if they don't have one. So these are all issues that are income inequality based, but they all come back to what Washington is doing to businesses, to families, and why people are in this situation where they can't provide for either of those.
Would you respond to that?
That was a lot. Look, I know that is going to be the attack from the right. I mean, we've been seeing it happening for the past couple of months, especially when it comes to Obamacare. I do think that in the next couple of months, you will see more positive stories coming out, and you will see the tide turn in terms of Obamacare and the coverage that people are getting and the people who are being affected. And you're seeing also a lot of stories that the whole truth isn't being told. There are people who may be losing their coverage, but they don't know that they are eligible for subsidies or there are other plans out there. And I think think there's better reporting that can be done on the Affordable Care Act, so I think that'll definitely change. Now, when it comes to income inequality, I mean, I think Democrats are saying bring it on. Like, if Republicans really think that they have a strong message to talk about how to reduce the actual income gap in this country, I'd love to hear it.
Anna, is it a gamble? Because, I mean, we've been covering, and Eric Cantor's been talking about this for a while, ever since the 2012 elections, this sort of a rebrand of the GOP by we care about you, we feel your pain. How much legs? How many legs does this have?
Well, I certainly think you're seeing Rand Paul. You're going to see Marco Rubio. I mean, it's kind of the empathy Republican, this message that they're trying to get out there, I think is what they're trying to do, because I think they open themselves up. I don't know that the income inequality, I think minimum wage has way more legs in terms of being an issue for 2014 versus,
keep an eye
you know.
Shameless plug, start us off.
My colleague Patrick Gleason has a great article in Forbes this week talking about what the Republican governors are doing to set the stage for the national elections in 2014.
Anna?
We have some great coverage on today's website about Liz Cheney, what happened, why she got out.
Soap opera. Great read.
So great. CAP has a lot of work happening around the anniversary of the war on poverty, and on Sunday we launched a huge report with Maria Shriver looking at women and the economy.
And I have to say, thank you, Florida State, ACC. The SEC dominance is over. Great win. Congratulations to Christine, Denny, Todd, and Chuck. You saw a great game, my friend. That's it for this edition of the Daily Rundown. Chuck will be back tomorrow. God willing, he doesn't get frozen on the flight. He'll be joined by Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack and also have a special look at the 50th anniversary of President Johnson's war on poverty.